Hi, everyone. This is Gilberto from Maverick Media Lab. I'm here with Mike Durr, and he's going to be talking to us how he's been able to grow his base of realtor partners and establish some lunch meetings with local realtors. Mike, thank you for sharing your time with us here and sharing some feedback.
Glad to share.
Yeah, and so before we kind of dive into things, can you give a little bit of intro for yourself just so that the audience knows who you are?
Okay, well, I'm Mike Durr. I'm in the Houston metro area. I operate out of Kingwood, Texas. Call myself the Kingwood mortgage guy. So if you operate in here, too bad. I got there first. Been in the business for 25 years. Have always either avoided or been reluctant to mess with realtors because the early times that I did, they were arrogant or not interested in what I had to sell. So I just kind of avoided it and did some coaching. I'm a big fan of Carl White and the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And
yeah, nice.
He talks about the Doris Hammer, which is really just staying on realtors and just staying and communicating with them consistently. But you've got to pick up the dadgum phone to do that. And so in an effort to do Carl's training, which I know works, I initiated, or you guys called me out of the blue. I think that some of the guys in the Marketing Animals had used you guys, and had some success. So I was willing to try it based on that. And I mean, I didn't know what to expect. It wasn't inexpensive, but you guys delivered. And it's still on my part to continue the relationship building. It's really what it's about, is giving me the opportunity to build relationships with realtors that I would have never talked to before. And so it's on me now, but I had results. The communication I had with them, the realtors were very much open to talk to me. They were interested in what I had to say. They were seeking, in many cases, either a new loan officer or somebody that, even though they've been with somebody for a long time, they were out of the business or whatever happened, they were open to me working with them.
Awesome. Yeah. And I find you mentioned something that I kind of see as a recurring pattern is the Coreluctance, right? That I find that's kind of like a reason why some people reach out is they know that it works, like reaching out to the realtors, and like they have a process for it, they have the coaching for it, but it's just a matter of like doing it and like doing it consistently. So yeah, that's an interesting part that you had brought up. Were there other things as well that you felt like also kind of prevented you from growing those referral partnerships? Was it just the Coreluctance, or was it other factors too?
Oh, I could find anything else to do but do that. And the trick is you got to do it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And even after making calls and having success with them, whenever I'd get that appointment, I'd always have something else to go do now. And I am nurturing now more aggressively than I have in the past, just because we need to right now. I mean, the business is not as good as it used to be. So maybe that was part of it, but the building of the relationship is something I know I can do. These people have opened up and been willing to talk to me, and it's on me. And so again, for anybody that's out there that's listening to this and has the ability to nurture relationships, I tell you that Gilbert's group work. They do what they say they're going to do.
Love it.
And I just signed up with you for another deal that you guys are doing. That I'm excited about that too.
Likewise. And you had mentioned something too as well, like in the beginning, and I find that's a recurring pattern too with a lot of folks in the industry, with kind of like before kind of working with Carl, you mentioned like that you were kind of hesitant to work with realtors because of some bad experiences, and kind of some were arrogant. And I find that that's kind of like what prevents some people from even like reaching out to realtors. So what was it that made you like kind of shift that belief, or shift to now wanting to grow and talk to more realtors?
Well, that's a good question. So I discovered that I had built up my business with my consumer database and with my online presence, and I was getting deals from that on a consistent basis. But when I started doing some of the things that Carl White teaches, one of the untouched channels of new business is the realtor thing. And for the longest time, I just said, well, I don't need them because I've got enough business without them. But then I had started I think I started seeing the success that some of the other guys in the Freedom Club had, that I thought, why am I not doing that? And so it was really just in an effort to grow my business and to maybe do something that I wasn't as comfortable doing, realized that the benefits of that would be pretty darn good.
Gotcha. It was like one of those things that was at the bottom of the to-do list, like below like just everything else.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like put on the back burner. Got it. And what do you was there anything else apart from that kind of you felt like stopped you, or was it just those main things, just the call reluctance?
Well, it's the fact that I'm set in my ways, and I was having decent success without doing it. The realtors, it's not like I blanked out realtors. I do have success with realtors that I've worked with on a consistent thing, but I wasn't growing them consistently. And in this business, what you find is that you'll work with a realtor for a while, and whatever happens, they fade away. And sometimes they come back, but you have to replace them on a continual basis. And that's why a program like yours is a great program for just staying out there, and anyway, it's
staying the pipeline, keeping the pipeline full of realtors.
It never hurts to add a new realtor. Sometimes you get some really good ones, sometimes you don't, but you got to keep doing it.
Yeah, and I know you had mentioned to me just before we had started recording it, that you had gotten some lunch meetings as well, like some coffee meetings and lunch meetings as well. So can we kind of talk about a little bit more about that? Because I know a lot of the loan officers that reach out to us is like they want more coffee meetings, they want to get more lunch meetings with realtors. So can you kind of talk about a little bit about how you did that with having the phone appointment and having the lunch meeting?
So the process that we go through is kind of like the discovery mode. Just first off, I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm trying to discover who they are, what they're like, if there's a chance that we might be able to have some kind of positive relationship. And there were some of the conversations were very short because it didn't sound like they were a very friendly person. They weren't somebody that I thought I would enjoy work with. But when I did connect with a handful of them, and I'd say I connected with 3/4 of them, and there was probably only a quarter I didn't connect with, it led to what now? Great, I talked to you on the phone. We have similar interests. We're trying to do the same things. Why don't we get together and have a face-to-face? And, you could probably, since it wasn't a Zoom meeting, I probably could have transitioned from the phone call to a Zoom, but it was a time when we were coming out of COVID, and I like people. I like meeting people in person. When I meet people in person, I tend to have a better chance of building that longer term relationship.
Got it. Yeah, I've seen that a couple. Those kind of seem to be the most common ones. Like some clients will go from like a phone to a Zoom, or they'll go from like initial phone meeting to like a more longer, like 1 hour, like lunch or something like that, and meet up like locally. I'm curious, what out of all the things, like what aspect of what we offered was kind of like your favorite part, or like the part you found like most valuable, if you had to pin down like one thing?
Okay, so it turns out that one of the person that works in my office is also a realtor, and I got a chance to see how you initiated the meeting with a text. And when I read the text, I thought, hell, I want to meet with myself. That was a pretty good text. It was pretty good. And so I got an, first part, that's how you kind of screen, or that was part of the filter that you brought in.
Yeah.
The thing that, there were only a couple of things that it seemed like a couple of the realtors that didn't work out were the ones with the lower producers. And on the scale of all the ones that I saw, most of them met the category or the criteria that we talked about. There were a few that fell under that. And so, I mean, but yeah, it wasn't enough to bother me. There were plenty that were doing plenty of deals.
Nice. Awesome. And I know that, over the amount of time that you've been in the industry, you've probably been, certainly in contact a lot of times about different marketing services and all that kind of stuff. So what was it that made you want to work with us as compared to like maybe someone else, or, maybe all the other options that you have for like marketing? What was it that, finally made you decide, yeah, I want to work with Maverick?
Well, I think the key thing, because people in our group had success with your group. Okay. And under those circumstances, there's a lot of pretenders out there in the arena that you're in. And if you've been in the mortgage business for any length of time, you've paid for leads that never got anything back. You paid for services where you never got anything back. And nobody wants to do that. I mean, there's not enough, we don't have enough money to just throw money away at the kind of money that you're talking about. So for me, the most important thing was that somebody in our group that I didn't know them, but they were in the same group, had success. And I remember specifically on like one of lunch and learn type things that Carl does, where a gal was talking about it and said that she had success.
Nice. I believe that was Eileen. So shout out to Eileen Garcia.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's exactly who it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And final question. So for whoever's watching this and is on the fence about, working with us, or they're about to hop on a call, like what would you say to that person who's contemplating moving forward with Maverick? What would you say to that person?
Well, the thing that based on the experience that I went through, and this is probably the 4th or 5th month, maybe that towards the end of the initial contract thing, I would sign up with you guys again. And I think that that's encouraging to anybody that says, yeah, these guys will do what we want them to do. They'll make contact with realtors. They'll have a chance to talk to them. These realtors are doing the kind of production that you're looking to do. And then it's up to you. Or in this case, it's up to me to fulfill and see what I can get out of it. But as far as what you guys said you would do, you did it. And I applaud that. And thank you, because I wish there were more people like you guys that would do what you said you do.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It means a lot because you've been in the industry like for as long. So you've been around the block, you've seen different things. And so it means a lot. I really do appreciate that. We do our best to like really make sure that we pull through on what we said we will do. So, I really appreciate you, Mike, for one, sharing your time here. And then two, for your kind words and just giving an honest feedback on what your experience has been. I really appreciate that.
If you hadn't done it, it wouldn't have been kind words, but you did what you were supposed to do. So it was.
It would have been a very different conversation. Yeah,
that's right.
100%. Yeah. Thanks again, Mike. I really appreciate you.
Okay, man. Good to talk to you.